Hey, Tate here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Nasdaq. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave Theory and provide multiple scenarios the price may take and explain why I prefer one count over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. So the US market indices are very much linked together, and all of them have very much of the same picture. So let's go through the higher time frame structure here for Nasdaq. In this one, the main idea we had was that we had a three-way structure into W, three ways into X, and then some kind of three-way structure into wave W. Now the structures and the proportions for this one are not perfect, so that it is also possible that we had this as an ABC. Now for this count we had the start from here, unlike the WXY count in which we started from here. So that is the only difference between these two counts, the pivoting or starting point. Whichever works for you best, I'll just go for it. The main thing to me is that we end the count, a three-way count, from somewhere up from these tops to these down levels here around the 11K area. At that point again, I'm looking for two different ideas here. One of them is saying that we have a completed correction here to the X wave, where we have this three-way structure beginning of a larger intermediate W, or this case that is the orange count, and then again three-way structure into X. We did not get to the 0.5 here, which is again one of the targets here, and we did not really hit the 0.382 either very well, and we're just lingering around the middle, which makes me think that actually this could be just a part of the connector, and to me I feel like that scenario would fit better than the current one that we have here. So instead of X being here, we would have it somewhere else a bit later on, and having that connector being just made here. So the idea here overall would be that, if we are zooming in a bit, that we would have this three-way structure as just the A wave of that connector. Then we would be looking for some kind of three-way structure coming down for that wave B, and then again wave C later on. Now the invalidation for this whole thing, or whole thought, would be around 9.4K. At that point, the wave B would get beyond the 1.618 retracement of this A wave, which is not allowed. So again, those are the basically areas that I would be looking at. Now if we are looking at some time variables or time predictions here, 1-to-1 in time, comparing the A wave for the wave B, would be around 14th of October. So it could be still taking quite a long time. Now, we've already had this structure coming down as a possible wave W, another ABC into X, and now we'll be looking for another ABC coming down. At that point, I don't see us getting to the 1-to-1 of that 14th of October, but instead next week, I would be expecting some kind of pivot already to happen. Now, if we are looking at all of these fib retracements and extensions that we have here, we can see a few different areas that would be interesting. The 1-to-1 area here is definitely interesting around the 11K to 10.8K area, and the other one with most confluence would be around this area here, where we would have 10.6 to 10.4K. The next one again, 10.1 to 10K. So we have these three different areas where we have lined up a few fib different targets here. So those are the things that I would be looking at in a higher time frame. Now if we are zooming out a bit, looking at some volume profile here, see if this turns up, we can see that there is not too much volume here. We see that volume is dropping off significantly, and the less and less volume is there. Now there is some kind of spike here where we had these confluences around this middle point of around that 10.6K area, and yeah, that feels like it has the most volume. So if we are not going to be catching on this, I would be really hesitant to call that we are going to be caught in here on this lower area where we have that 10.1K area. Of course, we have some support here right around 10K, because that is very much of a psychological number. 10K, if we are going to be breaking it, there's going to be a lot of people turning more and more bearish. And yeah, at that point, again, I don't see this 1.618 anymore holding. But those are some of the targets that I have for this count. let's see, what was this? Okay, that was that. Let's just put it back here. But yeah, that was the ABC connector that I was talking about, something like this. And the expected value here for the C wave was going to be a 5-way structure here, impulsive, and most likely making all the bears, all the bulls go mental here and say, okay, the bear run is over, and they can be just keep buying here, especially if we are going to be taking out this previous high of 13.7k. This is going to be the trap here, this area for sure. At that point, again, on higher time frame, we are going to be getting that to that golden pocket, basically, measured from the start here to the end or around here of June 18th. And that should be lined up like so. And if we are even getting to the 0.5 here, or in the golden pocket, these are going to be the levels that is going to most likely trap a lot of traders before we are going to be heading down. At least, again, that is the view on this count. Now, the other scenario was that the connector here was done per this count, saying that, again, this X wave was here. And for that one, we have two different ideas. Again, having this wave Y overall is going to be a 3-way structure. We have some targets, higher time frame, comparing these to here. So if we are just taking the fib extension tool, we can just pivot from here. And 1-to-1 would be all the way at 8k. We don't need to be projecting that as of yet, as we are still, I think, on the first wave of this wave Y. If we are indeed already created this X wave or completed X wave. But again, we have two different options. Now, for the more bearish view, that I don't really see happening at the moment, is that this was going to be turned into some kind of impulse wave. For this one, we would have this as 1, 2, 3 would be projected around 10.2k, 4 and 5, and that would be only if none of the extensions are going to be happening. Then we are going to be having some kind of 3-way pullback and another 5-way structure. At that point, we can easily get to that 8k area where we would be expecting that wave Y to be. But again, if we are just labeling this with the best look in mind, let me get rid of those. If we are labeling this with the best look in mind, I don't think this is a wave 2 here. To me, this looks more like a 3-way structure. It has better proportions like that as well, in my opinion. So that's why I would be labeling the exact same we had this ABC connector labeled it as. So this would be a 3-way structure, another 3-way structure, and then we would be looking for another 3-way structure in here. So the main target here would be, again, using the same pivots that we had for this other count. Definitely don't really want to see this going beyond the 1.618 here for this ABC. If we are, then we are going to be looking more towards that impulsive structure that I was talking about. But up to that point, I feel like this WXY count downwards would be fitting very well into this idea. And for that to happen again, or if that happens, we would be looking this as most likely the first structure that is going to be part of that wave Y. I don't think wave Y is just doing this, because again, it would be very short in comparison. If the wave W would be this, yeah, wave Y doesn't have any reason to be here. So this would be most likely, again, just the start of that wave structure, creating something like this. Okay, so those are the higher time frame structures I'm looking at the moment. Definitely next week is going to be telling us whether we're going to be getting some kind of impulsive wave structure here, looking at those extension targets here, especially on the lower time frame. Again, we can be starting to get some clues here, especially here if this is going to go further on. And if we can even start to measure this lower time frame structure here, if this is going to start looking impulsive. Let's put that on right, subminute. And start to measure this thing, and if this starts to get to the 1.618, then we have starting to get some kind of clues here, saying that okay, we have more of a possibility to get down here within this impulsive wave count, and it is making these lower targets way more probable, right? So that is what we would be next focusing on. Also, for this count, what we would be tracking is taking out these previous lows here on RSI. That would tell us that, okay, we are on a third of third, meaning again, this third, which is again happening right now, should be getting at least to the 1.618, should have the most momentum behind it, taking out the previous wave 3s that we've had here on these possible impulse wave structures. And again, this should be the lowest point RSI will go on this whole structure that we're going to be building. So if it does not get to these lows here on RSI, we can confirm, well, not confirm, but we are going to be getting some signals that, okay, this is not most likely going to be the case or the right count. But yeah, those are the things that I'm going to be looking at for Nasdaq and basically all the US indices next week when the markets open again. So yeah, that's that. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Links to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you in the next video, bye bye.